What's up guys, it's Rich back yet again, and in this vid it seems to me that Rich is on a search and he is searching for the rich lady. Be sure to check this out. Oh, rich fanatics, hope everyone's doing good, hope everybody's doing well. And it's that time of year. For some people it could be the most gracious time, most spectacular, most marvelous time. This moment inside. But as we go back hopefully the rich lady someday. I've had like many female celebrity crushes, especially like when I was still in secondary high school. There was a lot of like when like puberty kicks in and that, and just like women just became major center of my attention. I was always attracted to mostly, and it's funny now I'm a trainer and I'm in the fitness industry. I was always more attracted to the ones who are more like beautiful and intelligent, but also like kind of took care of their bodies and had genuine talent. It was I remember like being in like when I was in secondary high school, because as I've told you in other videos, when I was in high school, I was like bottom of the food chain. I didn't have a proper girlfriend. I didn't even get to prom. I didn't even get to go prom. What was it? Like I didn't really get serious with girls until I got to university, because I was like shy, I was timid. I was very like slim, so I was always on the bottom of the food chain. So trying to socialize with girls was very difficult. When I used to finish school, I used to come home, play PlayStation, play Xbox, do comics. Kind of the stuff that you see me doing now, with like, me being like, if you want to say goofy or like, charismatic and all that. That was kind of how I was like in school, but I was just hidden in the closet, because I didn't, sometimes you don't want to be like as this kind of like superstar, because like, you always kind of worried like how kind of people judged you, and you were like, oh yeah, you want to do the right thing, so this girl kind of talks, back to you, so I had this kind of like long, years that's just stuck in the muck of like school, and I was just like this kind of burning flame, just waiting to rise up, and things never really changed with me, like with goals side, until I got into like higher learning. This t-shirt, you know what time it is, it's Sierra Leone time, yeah. I'm originally from like West Africa, Sierra Leone, and in the Sierra Leone community in the UK, if you're basically like you've come out of university and you start working, so like I started working in like my first real job was in a gym, and it was only a couple of years after that whole studies was finishing. If you're in that, I'm wearing this t-shirt, you know what time it is, it's Sierra Leone time, yeah. I'm originally from like West Africa, Sierra Leone, and in the Sierra Leone community in the UK, if you're basically like you've come out of university and you start working, if you're in that position and you're working, you're working, you finish your education, the next basic step is to have a woman. Because I was not that guy, I wasn't the guy going to Sierra Leone parties. I wasn't really trying to associate with a community that didn't really associate with me. I can tell who's really like gonna, support me and gonna be there for me. So I didn't try to move myself to make that, because word would get around that I was more of like always out working. I had no time to party. They would always kind of be confused like of like why I didn't have like a Sierra Leone woman and that, and it really used to irritate me so many times, because I always still to this day say in the UK, especially with the Syrian community, so they will spend majority of their lives just going to birthday, going to these wedding parties, engagement parties, that's the only thing that's on their mind. There's no long-term mission, there's no long-term goal to become something bigger than a norm. So I knew that from when I was in my studies, that I'm trying to be something bigger than them, and I know the route that I gotta take is gotta be around the next straight one. So because of that, I had to avoid of the ones that they were so used to, that whole comfort zone. And because of that, like that's when when they would see me sometimes at this party once times, they'd be like, "Oh, I thought you didn't like going out." It's not that, it's just that I took my kind of what I want to do on this time on planet Earth more seriously than you. If you coming in at number 4 is Lalia Ruiz. If anyone doesn't know this fine Arabic beauty, she was a model. She's a mixture of Indian and Moroccan heritage. She appeared in which was much acclaimed, Footballers' Wives. She used to do VJing in India, and you will see her in a lot of like kind of skincare commercials for India, for like the Indian kind of culture, and yeah, like Lalia Ruiz, it was weird because I never watched like Footballers' Wives, like I would get through scenes and that, because I was kind of too, when it was kind of airing, I was still in secondary school, so I never saw it. It was only till like I stumbled onto like one of her pictures, I was like, whoa, this girl's like so, drop dead gorgeous. I start watching Footballers' Wives, and I know this happens, with some that kind of beautiful stars, who got like this kind of like, very kind of distinguished like, photogenic appearance, as Laila Ruiz does, you want to kind of watch the show just because of her, so she was just, and even to this day, she's approaching like, even to this day, like, she still looks like, she just, the way she just carries herself is just elegance. And she's just, even when you see her speak in her interviews, because she's still based in the UK, she just carries herself just such as an elegant, beautiful lady, and I only wish like with her, because she's put down as a model and actress, I only wish she had probably came over to the States, or like gone try to Hollywood, because I think like the way she looks, she's like what is basically like a leading lady could be like an Angelina Jolie, or back in the day Faye Dunaway. She's an Indian, especially like with the Indian, like a Hollywood leading lady. So Layla Ruas, Richie Rich, like known for a crush. Free J-Lo from the vlog is Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, J-Lo was a really big big kind of childhood hero when I was growing up, and just seeing how stunning she was then and then, J-Lo, like I first started, I didn't even actually say it, I first started hearing her from the music, it was around like 2000 with the I Am Glad and Jenny from the Block, and I think it was the time she was dating Ben Affleck. So her tunes were so catchy. Like I had the Walkman at the time. I'm trying to remember the make of it. It may have been a Sony Walkman. So I used to have like the J-Lo's album, even the one she had with like Fabulous, Get It Right. And why Jennifer Lopez is such an important for like what the idea of what a megastar is. She can sing, she can act, she's drop dead gorgeous, she can dance, and when she's in, and even going back to when they're acting, when J-Lo, probably out of all the other women, when she's in films, it's like she picked the right choices, if anyone actually wants to see how good J-Lo is as an actress, watch Outside, that came out in the late 90s with George Clooney. Impeccable actress, even though it was just even before I came to Canada, transit through Portugal, I watched Jennifer Lopez in Hustlers, and I was like, man, I'm watching Hustlers, and it's like I'm really just watching it, for Jennifer Lopez, the supporting actors are great and all that, but J-Lo's is someone who's carrying this film, because she had an early background from being in, she was on the In Living Color show, back in the day in the 90s, the TV sitcom with the Wayans, the Wayans brothers, produced that, so from that she was able to make her jump into films like Serena, Outside, that movie with Jack Nicholson, Blood and Wine, Money Train, Wesley Snipes, and so on and so on. So, it's really nice to see someone like Jennifer Lopez, because I'm my kind of only not issue about the with because I think with Jennifer Lopez, she set the bar so high for like what a female megastar is, because Beyonce definitely is like probably I'd say probably the only one who can compare to her neck and neck, but I just don't think Beyonce, as much as I love Beyonce, like as an actress wise, I don't think she got to where J-Lo is, maybe you could make it right for her like a singer, but the overall megastar, like Jennifer Lopez would be like if like a Will Smith, she's that kind of level, household name, and it's funny when you mention like I mentioned Jennifer Lopez, and you mentioned like Beyonce knows, they're trying, like in society now, because of social media, because you gotta remember, like when these two women broke through and made it, social media wasn't there, so it's a lot harder to get on, so you really have to attribute like J-Lo's even the way she can reinvent herself, if you see her albums, you can see like the change of style from the times, from when she was doing tracks in the 90s all the way to now, seeing her in the Super Bowl performance, and she's just always stayed stunning. She looks, she's just approaching like half a century. She has like two beautiful kids, and it's like anything she can do, she accomplish, and she's a firm representation of hard work pays off. From the the slum, the slums of like New York City, and she became like a bona fide mega star, so Jennifer Lopez, that's my number 3. Number 2, this was a very like a hard time, but I had to put her there. So yes, Storm from X-Men, not a great film, received the Catwoman, the original Catwoman in 2000, It Can Only Be Halle Berry. Yes. What was weird was with Halle Berry, like how I came across with her was she. It was always a running gag in the black sitcoms at this time. What was the epitome of like a female beauty and a male beauty was Denzel Washington and Halle Berry at the time. You know, in the 90s, you know, Denzel Washington was the go-to for the black man superstar. You know, and this is before like Idris Elba, Michael B. Jordan. You know, the guy who's gonna be playing the Blade now. You know, any kind of like leading kind of black actor, it was Denzel. Then even for the flip side, you know, for the women like Angela Bassett was there. You know, a few other like black leading actresses were there. You know, even some like Whitney Houston appeared. You know, she was a singer when she appeared. But Halle Berry, especially like coming into the late 90s, you know, she ended up getting an Oscar later on, and you know, most acclaimed performance introducing Dorothy Dandridge. You know, she became like the household for like what. You know, basically like for like a hot, like successful black woman that was meant to be Halle Berry. So, you know, I first saw Halle Berry, even though it was in X-Men. You know, the first X-Men that came in around the 2000. I saw a Storm. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa, who's this kind of like caramel like beauty with the white hair, you know, and they said it was Halle Berry. I was like, oh, I put two together. Oh, that's the one they were always talking about, you know. So like me being like a retro guy and really having like so much nostalgia, I used to go back and watch like her early appearances, you know, when she appeared in Different World in the 80s, and her first like breakout really role, which was in Jungle Fever, where she played like the, you know, the crazy like junkie. You know, and you could see it's similar to with the Jennifer Lopez, you know, just having that like catalog of work, you know, you can see, you know, her like evolution to like how she became the, you know, great actress she is today, you know, from seeing her in Jungle Fever, and then we see her and then introduced to Dorothy Dandridge, you know, even another forgotten gem is Strictly Business, which came out in the early 90s. You know, and Losing Isaiah, which is another super film with Halle Berry, you know. And you know what was really cool with Halle Berry is, even though she was black, it was one of the things, because she originally is biracial, but you know she identifies, you know, with being a black woman. You know, what was really cool with her is she had more of kind of a mainstream appeal, similar to kind of what Will Smith had. Like, she just wasn't like I'm only, you know, you just like it's only the black audience, you know what I mean. She was just more recognized the whole world, you know. Even Prince Harry had a picture of poster of Halle Berry like on his wall, you know, as I did, you know, when she had the one when Halle Berry's got the boxing gloves, she was announced the sexiest woman in the world, you know. I had a poster of Halle Berry, you know. So she's an everlasting beauty, you know. And you know, sometimes it's just, you know, like, you know, a God must exist, you know, to make her, the way how her face is just, it's just so perfect, you know. Her skin is just so, you know, glossy, you know, it's just so radiant, you know. And she, you know, because the thing is, you know, everyone, well, most people know she was doing beauty pageants, you know. She had modeling experience, you know. And you know, when she made, because some, like I said, some successful models don't really transition to film, you know what I mean, or like, you know, beauty pageants, you know what I mean. Some people think like, oh, because the way they look, they can have the, you know, acting chops, you know what I mean. And she really proved that she could make it. And like I said, they don't give Oscars to no one, you know, to nobodies, you know. She's somebody. So, you know, Halle Berry is like, you know, probably one of the sexiest women like that is ever been created, you know. Thank you God for Halle. As much as I love like Storm, you know, as much as I love Dorothy Dandridge, as much as I love Halle Berry, still had to give like the top throne to Naomi Campbell, you know. Naomi Campbell is my ultimate woman. Like, you know, I only wish I could have her. You know, she is what embodies for me like a woman is, you know. First of all, she's the same complexion as me, you know, which honestly, when there was a time, because and this is the reason I didn't pick like Halle Berry over Naomi Campbell, because there has always been like a certain kind of for like black girls, if they're not light skins, you know, if they call them light, you know, they're not physically attractive, you know what I mean? It's like you have the lighter you are, the more pretty you are, you know. So I love seeing like you know, a Naomi Campbell, you know, she was legit like one of the first dark skinned black women who stayed like that, you know, wasn't trying to lie and just trying to bleach. She stayed, you know, just dark jet black, is complexion as me, you know. So to see a black woman like that at a time when most women were like, you know, the Tyra Banks complexions, Beyonce, even as I mentioned, Halle Berry, you know, she just stood out, you know. And in my opinion, I think she was way more physically attractive, more than Tyra Banks, you know. And why I just always love with Naomi Campbell, she always brought my over like an attitude, you know what I mean? Like she was pretty, she was seductive, but she always had like just a nice kind of like attitude to go with it, kind of like, you know, don't F with me kind of attitude, you know. You could see it when we was in our wrong ways, you know, because Naomi Campbell was discovered in not too far like where I was around in UK. She was around the it was like the central, so I was around the east side of London. She was more of like the kind of central coming to north. That's where she was discovered to modeling, you know. So she actually jumped into it like when she was like in her teens, 14, you know. And she was doing runways like runway like parallel fashion shows all across Europe, you know. And she was able to build her name household, you know. And you know, she's similar to Halle Berry, you know, because they're roughly the similar ages. They came through that kind of 90s period, you know. And even though I mentioned this, she came up with that supermodel selection of like Cindy Crawford, Linda, I hope I'm saying this right, Linda Evans, you know, but you know, the Kate Moss as well, you know. So the whole kind of supermodel list, she was there with it. So she's a very big pioneer, you know. When I see women like her, when I see you know, women like Naomi Campbell, you know, when I see like women like even Tika Sumpter, you know, another beautiful dark-skinned woman, and you know, she's now playing like one of the lead females in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, you know. I sometimes can't think to that, like, if it wasn't for like a Naomi Campbell kind of pushing like, okay, the original kind of, you know, woman of the earth, because you know, black women were the first, you know. So the original kind of black queen, you know, and that was like kind of like how they looked like, you know, not like, you know, line skin, you know, spots, you know, like always having like the, you know, chemically relaxed, you know what I mean. It was just nice just to see someone who just carried herself as well as Naomi Campbell, you know. And you know, if anyone's ever checked the video I put out before on this, you know, I actually met Naomi Campbell when I was working. It was one gig. I was working at the, I'll just say it was at the Winter Wonderland, big event in the Hyde Park, in the kind of like downtown area of London, and I was working there as kind of like a games assistant, you know. So she came in with Kate Moss, which was a, you know, double win, and they wanted to go on the ride, you know. And I remember when she came in, yeah, one of the first times ever I actually legit got starstruck, because I was me and a super duper star, and only like 6 years before that I had a picture, like a swimsuit lingerie model being plastered on my wall, you know. So I remember, because at the time when I met her, she was on the Empire show, you know. So everyone didn't know who she was, but I knew it was. And I remember I told her, I said like, oh man, I'm so nervous, I'm shaking. And she replied back to me, it's like, it's okay, you're doing well, just relax. And I was like, oh, you know, I think I just made it. I don't want to say, you know, but all my dreams were realized at that moment, you know what I mean. But it was cool, because, and why I mentioned that is, as stunning as she is, how she appears in those, like, you know, big billboards, you know, like if you go to those big women's accessory stores. You go to like a Topshop or them, design fashion brand stores, and you see like Naomi Campbell's face. She looks exactly like that in person. She takes good care of her skin. I'm just above 6'4". When I met her, she just came like just up to my nose. So she's tall, really super sexy woman. Keeps herself in shape. Trust me, I'm still even feeling that time when I met her. This woman that you idolize forever. I'm like, I'm gonna marry Naomi Campbell. And like, you realize I was like, I couldn't say this and that. But yes, that's my list, as I went down. So, I had Layla Ruas, great actress, beautiful woman, Indian Moroccan heritage, from the United Kingdom. In third, Jennifer Lopez, Jenny from the Block, Jade Tulalo, mega superstar. At number 3. Number 2, introducing Dorothy Dandridge, Halle, so fine Berry at number 2, and Naomi Campbell, hands down. The Black Panther is my ultimate woman ever, will always be down. And Richie Rich loves some Naomi. I wish I had that for Valentine's Day. But yes, guys, that's like my kind of like vid for like search for the rich lady. What I mean? It's I'd say like with me, like I've always, if you go that list I've shown you, I've always mostly been attracted to like women who are exotic. It's like I felt like I'm hoping like the rich lady does have like features from all those 4 women. Because I always consider myself like an entertainer. So what I mean, like entertainer, sports, athlete. It's like I try to do like everything I possibly can. So to find like a woman who can encapsulate all of that, would be the best, of both worlds. So who knows, will they be in Toronto? Only time will tell. So yes, guys, that's my vid on in search for the rich lady. Stay tuned for more upcoming vids, which will be coming very soon. This is Richie Rich signing off, and always remember, it is peace, 2 fingers. Have a happy Valentine's Day, my loyal members of the Rich team.